If you are over 60, there is one lab result that quietly causes more fear than almost any other. It is not cholesterol. It is not blood sugar. It is eGFR. Many seniors see this number drop and immediately panic. They think something is failing. They think damage has already started. But here is what most people are never told. Not every eGFR drop is dangerous. Some drops are expected, some are normal, and confusing the two causes unnecessary fear. In this video, we will calmly explain the difference. No pressure, no panic, just clarity. eGFR is not a single moment number. It is an estimate of how well your kidneys are filtering over time. And like all estimates, it changes, especially after 60. What matters is not just that it drops. What matters is how it drops, and when it drops, and how fast it drops. Two people can have the same eGFR number. One is fine. The other needs attention. The difference is not obvious unless you know what to look for. Doctors understand this, but they rarely explain it clearly. So patients fill the silence with fear. If you have ever looked at your lab report and felt uneasy, if you have ever wondered whether your kidneys are aging normally or struggling, this video is for you. We will explain which eGFR changes are expected with age, and which ones should never be ignored. You will not hear scary statistics. You will not hear worst-case scenarios. You will hear how the body actually changes over time, and how to tell the difference between aging and danger. By the end of this video, you should feel calmer, more informed, and more in control, because understanding the pattern matters far more than staring at a single number. Let's start by clearing up one of the biggest misunderstandings about eGFR after 60. First, let's clarify what eGFR actually measures. eGFR is an estimate. It is not a direct measurement. It is calculated using creatinine, age, and other factors. Age matters more than most people realize. As we get older, muscle mass naturally decreases. Less muscle means less creatinine production. That alone can change the estimate. Blood flow to the kidneys also changes with age, not because something is wrong, but because the body adapts over time. These normal changes affect eGFR. That is why a slow, gradual decline is expected after 60. For many healthy seniors, eGFR gently drifts downward each year. This does not automatically mean disease. It means aging. What causes confusion is the lab report. It shows a number, and next to it, a reference range. But that range is often based on younger adults. It does not explain age context, so a senior sees a lower number and assumes the worst. But context is everything. An eGFR of 65 at age 40 is different. An eGFR of 65 at age 75 can be normal. The body is not failing. It is adjusting. Another reason eGFR fluctuates is hydration. Mild dehydration can temporarily lower the estimate. So can recent illness. So can certain medications. These changes can appear suddenly, and then improve. That is why one isolated result is not the full story. Trends matter more than snapshots. Doctors watch patterns over time, not single dips. Unfortunately, patients often see only the dip, and fear fills the gap. Understanding this helps you breathe easier. It reframes what you see on paper. Instead of asking, "Is this number bad?" a better question is, "How is this number changing over time?" Slow change is often normal. Sudden change deserves attention. The key is learning to tell them apart. In the next part, we'll look at the normal rate of decline, how much drop is expected, and when a drop crosses the line from normal aging into concern. This is where clarity really begins. Now let's talk about numbers in a calm way. Not to alarm you, but to give you a clear reference. After age 60, a slow decline in eGFR is expected. For many healthy seniors, this decline is small, often about 1 point per year, sometimes even less. This kind of change is usually normal aging. It happens quietly, without symptoms, and without damage. If your eGFR goes from 70 to 68 in a year, that alone is not dangerous. If it goes from 65 to 63, that can still be normal. The body is adjusting, not failing. What matters is the speed. A slow, steady change is very different from a sudden drop. When doctors become concerned is when the number falls quickly. For example, a drop of 5 or more points in a short time, especially if it happens within months, or if it keeps happening again and again. That pattern deserves attention. Not panic, just attention. Another important detail is stability. If your eGFR stays around the same range for years, that is reassuring, even if the number is lower than it once was. Stability often matters more than the exact value. 2 people can both have an eGFR of 55. One has been stable for years. The other dropped rapidly from 70. These are very different situations. That is why context matters so much. Doctors look at trends. They compare past results. They ask when the change started and what else was happening at the time. Illness, dehydration, medication changes. All of these can affect short-term results. One low reading does not define your health. Patterns do. Understanding this changes how you read your lab report. It shifts your focus from fear to observation, from reacting to understanding. In the next part, we'll talk about the drops that are not normal, the kind of eGFR changes that should never be ignored, and how to recognize them early, without panic, without guessing. Just clear signs to watch for. Now let's talk about the eGFR drops that are not normal. This part is not meant to scare you. It is meant to help you recognize patterns early. One concerning pattern is a sudden drop. If your eGFR falls by 5 points or more in a short period, that deserves attention, especially if it happens within a few months. This kind of change is different from slow aging. It suggests something has changed in how the kidneys are being supported. Another pattern is repeated decline. If each test shows a noticeable drop, even if each drop is small, that trend matters. A steady downward slide is more important than a single low number. Doctors watch for direction, not just position. A third warning sign is when eGFR drops and does not recover. Sometimes a number falls because of dehydration or illness. Then it improves. That can be normal. But if it falls and stays down, that is a signal to look closer. Context also matters. If an eGFR drop happens together with other changes, it becomes more meaningful. Changes in urine, swelling, unusual fatigue, or changes in blood pressure. These do not confirm a diagnosis, but they add information. Another important pattern is age mismatch. If your eGFR is much lower than expected for your age, doctors take note. Not because age should be ignored, but because it provides a reference. The kidneys age differently in different people. But sharp deviations deserve evaluation. Medication timing can also reveal important clues. Some drugs affect kidney filtration temporarily. Others can increase stress if doses or timing change. That is why doctors often review medications when eGFR shifts quickly. None of this means you are in danger right now. It means patterns guide decisions. Early attention allows gentle correction. Later attention narrows options. Understanding these differences helps you respond calmly, not with fear, but with clarity. In the next part, we'll talk about common everyday factors that can cause temporary eGFR drops and how to tell those apart from real kidney stress. Before assuming something is wrong, it helps to understand what can temporarily lower eGFR. Many drops are not permanent. They reflect short-term stress, not lasting damage. One very common cause is dehydration. Even mild dehydration can concentrate creatinine in the blood. That alone can lower the eGFR estimate. This often happens after illness, after poor appetite, or after avoiding fluids to reduce nighttime bathroom trips. Once hydration improves, the number often rebounds. Another cause is recent infection. Even a mild illness can affect kidney filtration for a short time. The body redirects blood flow during recovery. That can change lab results temporarily. Medications also play a role. Some blood pressure medicines, some pain relievers, some heart medications. They can lower eGFR slightly, especially when first started or adjusted. This does not always mean harm. It means the kidneys are responding to a new balance. Timing matters as well. Lab tests done during or right after stress may look worse. Tests repeated weeks later often look better. That is why doctors sometimes repeat labs before making conclusions. Diet can also affect short-term results. Very high protein intake before testing can influence creatinine levels. So can intense physical activity in the days before a blood draw. These effects are temporary. They do not reflect long-term kidney health. Understanding this helps reduce unnecessary fear. It reminds you that one number is not the story. Patterns over time matter more. That is why context is essential. When an eGFR drop appears, doctors ask questions. Were you sick? Were you dehydrated? Did medications change? Did your routine change? These questions help separate temporary shifts from real decline. This is also why calm observation is powerful. If you know what can cause short-term changes, you are less likely to panic and more likely to respond wisely. In the next part, we'll talk about how doctors actually evaluate eGFR trends over time. Not in one visit, but across months and years. This is where long-term clarity really comes from. Now let's talk about how doctors actually look at eGFR over time. This part often brings the most relief, because it explains why many people live well for years with a lower number. Doctors do not judge kidney health from one test. They look at trends. They compare results over months, sometimes over years. They want to know one main thing. Is the number stable? A stable eGFR, even if it is lower, is often reassuring. It means the kidneys are adapting, not actively failing. For example, someone may have an eGFR around 55 for many years. If it stays in that range, doctors often monitor rather than intervene. Because stability suggests balance, not progression. What doctors watch closely is change. If eGFR drops steadily over time, that signals ongoing stress. If it stays flat, That suggests the body has found a new steady state. This is a key difference most patients are never told. Another factor doctors consider is symptoms. Many people with lower eGFR feel completely normal. They sleep well. They function well. They live active lives. This matters. Numbers are part of the picture, not the whole picture. Doctors also look at related markers, urine tests, blood pressure, electrolytes. Together, these give context. An isolated number rarely drives decisions on its own. That is why follow-up is often slow and careful. Not urgent, not dramatic. Monitoring allows time. Time to see patterns. Time to adjust gently. Time to avoid unnecessary interventions. Understanding this helps reduce fear. It shifts your mindset from "this number is bad" to "is this number changing?" That is the question doctors ask. And it is the question you can ask too. In the next part, we'll talk about how to support kidney stability after 60. Not cures, not extreme measures. Just calm, sensible habits that protect long-term balance. Now let's talk about how to support eGFR stability after 60. This is not about reversing aging. It is about protecting balance. Small habits matter more than dramatic actions. One of the most important factors is hydration. Not excess, not restriction, just consistency. Drinking small amounts regularly throughout the day helps the kidneys filter smoothly. Waiting until you feel very thirsty can stress the system, especially in older adults. Blood pressure control also plays a major role. Not just avoiding high numbers, but avoiding large swings. Very low blood pressure can reduce kidney filtration, especially at night. That is why medication timing matters. This is something to review calmly with your doctor, not something to change on your own. Diet does not need to be extreme. Very high protein diets can increase kidney workload, especially when eGFR is already lower. Moderation is usually more protective than elimination. Salt balance matters too. Too much can raise pressure. Too little can cause dizziness and low circulation. Balance again is the goal. Movement supports kidney health indirectly. Gentle daily activity improves circulation. It helps blood reach the kidneys more evenly. This does not mean intense exercise. Walking, stretching, light movement. These are often enough. Sleep quality matters more than many people realize. Poor sleep raises stress hormones. Stress hormones affect blood pressure. Blood pressure affects kidney filtration. A calm, regular sleep routine supports the entire chain. Avoiding unnecessary medications is also important, especially frequent pain relievers. Some medications reduce kidney blood flow slightly. Used occasionally, they are often fine. Used daily, they deserve review. None of these steps are dramatic. That is the point. Kidney stability comes from consistency, not quick fixes. Understanding this gives you control, not over numbers, but over patterns. And patterns shape outcomes. In the final part, we'll bring everything together so you can walk away feeling calm, clear, and confident about what your eGFR really means. Let's bring everything together calmly. eGFR is not a verdict. It is a signal that needs context. After 60, some decline is normal. Slow change is expected. Stability matters more than a single number. Danger does not come from a mild drop. It comes from fast change, repeated decline, and loss of stability over time. Understanding this changes how you read your lab results. Instead of fear, you gain perspective. Instead of panic, you gain clarity. Doctors do not treat numbers. They treat patterns. And now you understand why. A stable eGFR, even if lower, often means balance. A sudden or ongoing drop deserves attention. Not alarm, just careful review. Your role is not to diagnose yourself. Your role is to notice patterns, to stay hydrated consistently, to support steady blood pressure, to sleep well, and to communicate clearly with your doctor. These are not dramatic steps. They are protective ones, especially after 60. If there is one message to remember, it is this: a lower number does not automatically mean danger, but a changing number deserves understanding, and understanding gives you control. In the next video, we will talk about nighttime kidney changes. Why kidney stress often shows up during sleep, and how those nighttime patterns connect to eGFR changes later on. If this video helped you feel calmer about your numbers, that next explanation will make even more sense. You are not behind. You are learning how your body changes with time, and that knowledge is one of the strongest tools you have. Take care, stay informed, and stay calm.